typically have your coaches do up downs? What was that
When
for?
they make a mistake, whenever we give up an explosive play defensively right now, he's got them going up downs. And, just a couple. And so I guess there was a mistake he made, so he owned it and he did some up downs.
Sound like 10 of them. Is he usually?
Yeah, I think he went overboard there, but he made his point. Coaches make mistakes too, so.
Was he like that as a player, doing that many up downs?
No.
Head coach never has to do up downs, does he?
I'm getting in shape to do that. I definitely make mistakes.
We saw Toten in blue today.
Yeah.
I guess from that play at the end there.
He got hit pretty good, but I'd say he's 90%. We just didn't want to get him hit. He got some reps, got some practice in, but we wanted to make sure that scout team group didn't come up and get after him too good. So it was the right thing to put him in blue. He'll be fine.
I guess Gallo and McDonald weren't participants today.
Yeah, Gallo's still, he's progressing, which is encouraging. He's not ready for this weekend. McDonald has sustained an injury. He's being, evaluated now. We'll see how long that takes, but he won't be available this weekend.
You feel for a guy like Gallo that he's geared up for a senior season last year, comes back for another shot at this year to still.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very unfortunate. He had a tough decision when he decided to come back, last year, and then that happened. Then he makes the decision again to come back this year, and has the setback he's had. So, I definitely feel for him.
Saw Brody Meadows and Gunnar Givens getting the split at right guard with some shoes.
Yeah.
How's Meadows looked, and is Givens making some strides?
Yeah, Gunnar is making some strides. He had a good summer. He put mass on. He got stronger. He looks the part now. He's learning it, and he's slowly getting better. And then, Brody coming back after a minor setback, it looks good. It's good to have him back.
Does Givens have one of those bodies where he leaned down to play defensive line?
Yes.
And added mass?
Yep.
What is that like for a player like that to do that? What does that do?
Well, he was good playing either position, and I said, listen, you run too good. Let's see if we can make you a D tackle. And I think his familiarity and comfort level was on the O-line. But we gave it a good shot, and I'm not saying he couldn't have been a solid D tackle here one day, but we felt like his upside was more on the other side of the ball. So, and honestly, he was fighting gaining the weight, and that was one thing. Like, okay, just let it happen, let Mother Nature run its course, and you're going to be a big guy.
I guess there's some question about whether ODU's quarterback will be ready for this one. You prepare for the backups in that? Are they similar in style, or is there any differences there?
Yeah, obviously we're familiar with Seven, but the backup listed on the depth chart wasn't dressed out for the last game, but we've certainly evaluated him and what he could do. And then the redshirt freshman, the high school guy from California, we went back and watched his high school film, and I think we looked at that last year. He was a freshman on the team, but he's an athletic guy. He's a lot like the starter. If that's the guy we see, I think things would be pretty similar.
You look at Henderson on the defense. He didn't play last week. Played sparingly against South Carolina. Has their defense changed much without him in there? Is it the same?
Honestly, I think the guy they're playing at his spot's doing a nice job. He's a good player too, and I'm sure they miss him. He's the heart and soul of their defense, but they do have a guy that stepped up and is playing pretty good. They've got a nice defense.
Walking around practice, I heard somebody make a comment about Dorian, saying Dorian's a cheat code. Having a guy like that come back, I know you talked about the conversations you had with him about just where he can improve and him playing a little bit nickel. And where have you seen him grow, maybe mentally, through these first couple weeks? I know he didn't really get targeted in that Vanderbilt game, but what growth have you seen from him since he decided to come back?
Yeah, honestly, he's refined his skills, which were pretty good, but he's wanted to bulk up. He's wanted to be more physical. He's done that. I think even the play he made on their explosive run, not only did he chase it down, which shows his speed, which he's always had, but he made a really nice adjustment and a strong tackle right there. And, he's gotten better that way. But the other piece is he's a great leader in that room. I don't know that coming out of last year you would have just said, oh, here's a captain for next year. He earned that, through the winter, the spring, the summer, to be named a captain by his peers. I don't know that at the end of the season, yeah, he had a great year, but I don't know if it screamed captain. So he's grown a lot that way. He's mentored Mansour, he's mentored Dante, he's mentored those guys. So
you can just tell he's kind of carrying himself a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think we asked you Saturday night about.
He's confident.
We asked you Saturday night about Caleb Spencer after you watched film.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him at Star as that backup, and has he grown that?
Yeah,
quickly?
he's still coming. I like him. Quinn likes him. I think that's where his future probably is. We messed around with him a little bit at Will Backer also, but he's a physical player. He loves the game. He's twitchy. So we're bringing him along. I hope that as we get into the season, his snap count's going up, and he's got a role on special teams, which is helping us.
Does he kind of have that mold of like Keontae, where Keontae kind of has stayed at Star, that you think Caleb could grow into that at the Star position?
I think so. Yeah, I think he could.
Getting to see Bryce Duke again on the other sideline. What does
Yeah.
that process look like? Does Coach Ronnie reach out when evaluating him?
Yeah, we talked about him. Obviously, I endorsed Bryce completely. And they had a need, and Bryce fit their need. I just, I'd got a ton of respect for Bryce Duke and what he meant to our program, how he worked, how he went about his business. So, outside of this game, I want to see him do really well.
Touching on Caleb Spencer, Thomas Williams saw some snaps
Yeah.
in that game. You've been mentioning for years now,
Yeah.
rebuilding that cornerback room in the secondary, some of the younger guys. What did you see out of him and continually to do? Maybe
Yeah, I'm
to that
excited
spot?
about him. Again, his role is growing on special teams, and he's earning that trust where Coach Jones, is feeling better and better about putting him in the game. He threw him out there the other night, in the red zone. And Dorian needed a blow, and rather than ride Dorian, he threw him out there and did fine. He's proven it out here. He's done it, and he's a young guy. And again, he's not super experienced in the secondary, but I'm excited about Thomas Williams.
Do you notice this game meaning a little bit more to the 757 guys on the roster?
I think so. We talked about it today some. I think, they're very prideful about where they're from and what it means, and they want to go home and play well. There's no question in my mind.
How about Ali going back down there for the first time?
Yeah, I can't even imagine, for a guy, he means so much to us. It feels like he's always been a Hokie, so it's very strange. So I'm sure it's strange for him, but he's handled the transition well. Going into that game last year, and, he did his team share last year and talked about and had nothing but respect for those guys. And those are I got a lot of buddies over there, and, but let's go win this game. So he's got good perspective on it.
Is it still burned in your memory what he did to you guys
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah, that one was hurtful. Yeah, that was a heck of a play by him. We look back at that game and just some things that we certainly needed to do better to win it.
Is that a game that you knew he was a Power 5 receiver?
I think so. We liked him going into the game. We're like, this guy's a good player. We're fortunate to have Ali. He's playing really good football right now. He didn't get many targets the other day, but he has really consistently just, been at the top of his game, I think.
Yeah, you were asked yesterday about Kyron and running the ball, and you said that you felt like Marshall was kind of keying in on that and making it so Kyron was giving on those replays. You feel like after some film is out from last year, you feel like teams those first 2 weeks playing you guys any differently than maybe you were at the end?
I think a little bit. But the other piece is, you make it hard to stop the tailback when you do that. And so, it's kind of feast or famine. I've been on that side of it. And you say, okay, what do you want to take away? And we have to make it where if you take one away, we got something else. You take that away, we got something else. I think we've got enough production out there. We got to be able to spread it and share the wealth where we need to.